Welcome again to another one of our 10 at 10 for 10 trainings in leadership development. I want to welcome all of you to our training today. We're going to jump straight into it. I've got something, a concept I want to put in front of you at the beginning here. Share my screen and see if I can get this to get big on me here. There we go. I hope y'all can see that. Okay. I'm getting a little background noise from somebody, Lisa, so I don't know if you have the power to monitor that. All right, so minimums are maximums. What the heck does that mean? You know, it's so funny how, human beings are hilarious. On the one hand, you'll watch a human being, just go through all kinds of, I mean, they're willing to go to the end of the earth practically to do whatever it takes to keep a job that's barely paying them minimum wage. They'll work their butt off. They'll put up with a lot of trash talk from their boss. You know, all for in most cases a relatively low paycheck, but they've wrapped their whole life around that, thinking that they really need that, and therefore they got to do whatever they got to do, and if they have to put up with a lot to keep that paycheck rolling in, they're going to do it. And it's just so interesting to see all the time, effort, aggravation, frustration, disappointment, all the stuff that people will put into just getting barely enough, maybe enough to survive. I say maybe because the world is changing so fast that under today's norm, I don't think they're paying people enough to basically make it where they live. Usually what the jobs are paying is not enough to justify the location where they're living. So and this whole job thing started back, it got pretty heavy in the Industrial Revolution, the beginning of the 1900s, right? That's when it kind of became a thing. Before that, things were more of an agrarian. People lived on farms and stuff, and they just took care of things on the farm. People were self-sufficient, actually didn't even need money. A lot of them just made it just by living off the land. But anyway, we live now in this highly technological age, and we're still kind of the end of this industrial revolution, where people hold on to these jobs that they're been squeezed down to such a microscopic amount of money. But it's amazing how they'll put like this maximum effort in just keeping that job, and even knowing that it's probably not even enough money for them to properly, care for themselves or to be independent. On the other hand, when presented an opportunity to become a millionaire, and that there's going to be an effort required, it's so funny how the same human being that will just go to the end of the earth for the boss that they hate, how that same human being will take an opportunity to make way more than that paycheck and then try to apply the minimum effort possible, minimum time possible, minimum amount of energy possible to get that $1 million. And to me, that just reminds me that we're in bizarro world. Everything about this world is the opposite of what it should be. And human beings certainly behave that way, where they try to apply minimums as the maximum. Anytime you focus on a minimum requirement and that becomes your focus, then it's like you feel compelled not to do anything above and beyond that because you're focused on just meeting the minimum. And like, hey, this is supposed to be work out perfectly. Everything's supposed to be wonderful if I just do the minimum I'm told I'm supposed to do. Okay. Well, I just wanted to do a check with all of you, that a reality check. And then that's just not true. The truth is, if anytime you focus on minimum, you're going to get minimum in return. Okay. And you're probably going to create more problems for yourself than if you just were willing, if you had a willing, just the sheer willingness, just the attitude alone could make the load much lighter than carrying the weight of turning a minimum into a maximum. Okay. And I want you to take serious the proposition that you're being faced with pull funding, that you can, on, a small team of people that you build, become a millionaire. Okay. And that can happen in about a year. And you can be cash flowing in excess of like $85,000 monthly, which if you multiply that times, if you multiply that times 12, you're going to end up with $1 million. But I mean, technically, you should be cash flowing like $90,000 a month. And that would be with 4 personal referrals. And that would net you about $3,000 a day for 30 days. That's $90,000 a month. That's more than $1 million a year. Okay. And then you could look at the front end of this thing as part of the education. Okay. Go back to the job thing. People will spend an extra 4 years of schooling above and beyond their high school diploma to go get a college degree, okay, that says that they know a little bit more about a subject matter than otherwise, so that they could get that better job, right? And look at all the time, money, energy put into just that education alone to go get that low-paying job that will not turn them into a millionaire, right? It's going to keep them well below that. Okay. So what we're doing here in our $10 pool and then moving on into the $100 pool, that's all going to be part of the educational process. I apologize for some of the background noise I've got going on over here, but that's part of the education, and it's a far less expensive education than you compare what people will do for that job that they would try to hang on to. Okay. So why don't we reverse all of this? Why don't we straighten ourselves out right now and say, look, let's definitely do whatever we got to do to keep the food on the table. If we have a job, make sure we're doing good there. And we're not trying to disrupt that part of your life in any way. Okay. Continue to do what you've got to do, what you've been doing, because it seems to be working. You're here breathing and it's all good. But in addition to that, I want you to let go of the idea of trying to do the minimum to become a millionaire. Instead, open yourself up to the possibility that you are willing to do more. And if you are, you'll find that will lighten the emotional burden that you might be carrying. Because when you turn minimums into maximums, you're actually creating an emotional baggage that's pretty heavy. Okay. And all you got to do is just let it go, so that you don't have to carry that emotional baggage anymore. And just open yourself up to, hey, one more phone call, one more Zoom meeting. Just open yourself up to, just one more, whatever it takes. Because after all, it's so that you are getting $1 million of funding every year. And at the end of the day, I promise you, when you compare time, energy, effort, overall attitude of getting $1 million with full funding compared to what you've been doing for that paycheck, the paycheck is going to it's going to cost you a lot more to get. It's heavier. A lot more time, energy, effort, money. It's heavier compared to what it takes to become a millionaire. But at the same token, I don't want the illusion to be that it's just almost nothing, you know? Yes, you can start with $200, but what if things get a little tight? Do you just say, you just hold down? They said it was only going to be $200. You're going to hold back, and when you have the reserves, you can actually throw another 100 in if you need to, right? There's that. Oh, I only needed to get 4 people. What if you got 4 people, but 2 of them were just, not good, right? They ended up being a bit toxic, and so it was better to let them go. Are you going to just say, well, I got my 4, are you done? No. You want to get 2 more to replace the 2 that weren't quite the right fit after all, right? So this is what I'm talking about. So we need to look at the serious nature of the offer we're presenting. Because even though it seems small now at the $10 level, I mean, I've already raised it's approaching $12,000, guys, in the time that I've been doing pool funding in the $10 pool with only 9 referrals. 12,000. I mean, that's says, starting to add up to, where it's at that paycheck level for some of you, and that's at the $10 level. Well, when it gets expanded to the $1,000 level, that would be not 120, that'd be 1.2 million. Okay. 12,000 times with 2 more zeros, it's 1.2 million. You see? So it does add up, but I've got 9 referrals direct to me. So I hope to take to heart today's training and just have that willingness to do a little bit more than maybe what was, kind of coded as, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this, and you're going to get that. Be more flexible. Like, hey, that sounds great. Seems simple enough. And if I got to do a little bit more, I'll do a little bit more. Right. And we have a great example here. We actually have a couple of great examples. I want to call on Lisa. Hello, Lisa.
Hello.
Okay. Lisa, you're definitely putting in additional effort into this. You're not just getting your referrals and then you're done. You're actually helping a lot of people, right?
Oh, yes.
You've kind of taken a leadership role. This is why you've already won the contest. Even before the contest began, you won it. Okay. You're coming to the Philippines. And it's just a way of rewarding you for what you've already done before. Okay. So Lisa's a great example. Steve Thompson, can you come on here, buddy?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
All right, Steve's another one. Okay, he's like 7 days a week with pool funding, right? You usually have a number of meetings, and they're not just your meetings, are they?
No, they're 2 or 3 or 4 a day.
So you're not applying this idea of a minimum, effort. You bring to the table the willingness to do whatever it takes. You recognize the $1 million offer is worth it, right?
It's worth it. Way worth it.
And I promise you, when we look back a year from now, we advance it a year from now, and then we look backward and we go, what did we actually put into it, time, energy wise? You'll be like, it was so much smaller than the paycheck thing. The paycheck thing was way more demanding of all of our resources. The $1 million thing, far less demanding. And, you just kind of fit it in, where it fits in.
So, Ace, I give tennis lessons, and when I'm giving my lesson, I'm thinking, this isn't worth it to give a tennis lesson. I should be working at pool funding.
Well, how much do you charge to do a tennis lesson with you?
$50 an hour.
Wow. So you're on the court for $50, and then what about the time to get to the place? You get paid for that?
I have sometimes 20 minutes to get there and 20 minutes to come home.
So
plus that hour.
Who pays you to go there?
They get that $50. That's it.
So you don't get more than the $50. So, and the person paying the $50, they're thinking, I'm paying too much, right? That's part of their attitude,
that's
right?
exactly right. Yes, exactly right.
And they don't realize you're a lifetime expert in what you're doing. You took your time to get there. You took your time to go back. You know,
Right.
$50 doesn't even barely cover the time and effort. I mean, if you had to take an Uber to the tennis court and an Uber back home, you'd be negative, right?
It would eat it up, yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't have $50 anymore, would you? You know?
No, you wouldn't.
And
And
that's
it's much easier to it feels like I'm wasting my time with the $50 an hour, even though I did 3 or 4 lessons in a day,
yeah.
still feels like I'm wasting my time doing that as opposed to doing this all the time.
Yeah, so this is the deal. And soon enough, you'll have the option of you know, doing what you want as far as that goes. Because the cool thing about pool funding is that once the thing is, you know, fully developed and once it kind of gels like gelatin, right? Once it gels, right? Then how much time do you actually got to put into it? Like none. A minute a day. Just you know, just basically the click pay now a couple times. 1 minute of your time per day.
And you'll be spending time with your travel agent.
And yeah, and then you could have all this money coming in, like $3,000 a day coming in every day, right? Once it gels. And all the effort was put in the front end of it, where you put the effort in the front side so that you'd create a solid structure so it would just carry on without you, right?
Right.
Whereas the tennis lesson, if you don't show up, you don't get paid,
That's correct.
right?
I want to make money while I'm sleeping.
Yeah. So that's the beauty of what we're building here. That's why I got into team building. I made my first million doing this, and I've never looked back. That this is the way to go. I mean, yeah, it's amazing when you have so much money coming in, and actually at some point it kind of takes on a life of its own, and the money kind of just gets bigger and bigger and bigger all by itself, even without any additional effort on yourself. And then you just enjoying a better and better lifestyle as a result. So that's what this is all about, guys. So don't let minimums become your maximums. Reverse it. Just come to the table with the attitude of, you know, I understand generally how this is going to work, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make it work because it seems to be working already. And as long as I do my part, it should be fine too. And in the team environment, it's not all up to any one of you anyway. The more of us that we grow into, actually, it just kind of lightens up for everyone, you know, the bigger we get. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed today's training. It's an exciting time. And
Yeah.
we're going to look back on this and go, wow, look at how far we've come. And until that day happens, and until tomorrow, we'll see you for now. Bye for now.
Bye bye.
Thank you.